Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be about a picture that I put up recently on my social media page, on my Instagram, and shared on my Facebook group, Hyaluron Queen. It got a lot of attention because it was a beautiful eye lift, a nice reconstruction of the upper face. I got asked why I didn't video the procedure. It was a second treatment and it was beautiful results. The reason I couldn't video it is because I am in Canada. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to record it myself working on anyone else other than myself. I did say that I was going to make a video explaining what I did, and here we are. So before I start, I just want to welcome you all. If you need any products or supplies, feel free to contact me through email if you have any questions as well. It's lc@hyaluron-queen.com. And whatever I sell, I do use them on myself. I wouldn't sell anything that I haven't used on myself. This is how my company began, is because I use them and I love them, so I began to sell them as well. And I began selling them is not because I wanted to open a business, is because I began using them on myself and I saw great results and I loved it so much that I wanted to share. I wanted others to feel good as well. That's how my company began. It wasn't really that I opened up a beauty business. I'm actually a hairdresser and I started to use the Hyaluron device for myself, and I loved the device so much, I loved the results so much that I started to make videos to help others, and then I started to sell the products because I believed in them and I loved the results so much that I wanted to share them with others. So that's it. I'm a very small business, and that's why my website isn't up yet, because I do this all on my own. And that's all. So feel free if you have any questions to contact me. And don't forget to press subscribe. So what I did was that photo there. This rejuvenation process that we're working on. It was the second part of her treatment. When you're using hyaluronic acid, it's a slow process. When we hit about the age of 20, we start to lose the volume in our skin. This is a normal aging process. As we get older, our skin begins to age, depending on our lifestyle, our genetics, our expressions, whether we stay hydrated well, if we drink a lot of water, if we drink alcohol, things like this. So it also becomes dehydrated, and we start to notice fine lines, wrinkles, loss of volume in the skin. This is what hyaluronic acid does. It replaces the volume in the skin, it rejuvenates the cells, and so you can use it for either to rejuvenate the skin, and you can use it to add volume into the skin. So some people like to just maintain and add volume as we age. We can use it to repair the fine lines. We can use it to tighten the skin, because as we get older, we start to notice the skin starting to lose its hydration. So we want to tighten the skin, which is what we would use it as a mesotherapy. And we can use it to add volume. So if we want to make our lips bigger or our cheekbones a little bigger, some people like to square off their jaw. Some people even add it into the nose when we have a little indent in the nose. Things like this, it's really great. So for my friend, what I did, she had a lot of sagging in her eye area. Over here, she had a lot of drooping. In this part here, she noticed this was drooping a lot, as you can see in the photo. So she was complaining that it was even affecting her vision. This part here was hanging down. When you're doing an indent in the nose, we don't really have to think of the upper part of the face. Sometimes when you're working with hyaluronic acid, you don't only think about the area that you're working on. You have to think of other areas as well. Example, if you're working on a young lip, you want to add volume in the lip, you would just add volume in the lip. So an average lip would take 1 to 2 mLs of hyaluronic acid. If you're working on an older woman, let's say she's a smoker, and she has smoker lines around her vermilion border, and she has smoker lines around the lip line, or just an older woman, she's not a smoker, but she has lost the volume around the lip, and it's caused wrinkles and aging around the lips. and she comes to you, let's say, and she says, I don't want volume in the lips, I don't want bigger lips, but I want to fill in my smoker's lines. You're not going to just fill in her smoker's lines. The reason she has the smoker's lines, when she's smoking, puckering her lips has caused the lines. So as the practitioner, you have to think about that, and what you're going to do to treat that is you're going to fill her lips first. She might tell you she doesn't want volume in the lips, but you're going to add volume in her lips first, and then you're going to add in very micro, small injections into the fine lines you see around the lips, which will then rejuvenate the skin and repair those fine lines that the loss of volume has created. So let's get back to the picture that I did for the eye lift. She had a lot of drooping here. She had loss of volume in the forehead. This is a lady who is in her late 40s. Around 20 years old, we start to lose volume. The loss of volume begins in the eye area. Loss of volume. Loss of volume in the upper forehead. Loss of volume. Okay. So when we're doing a lift, we have to think of the face dropping from the top down. Even when you're doing a jaw. When you're doing a jaw, you're not only going to lift here, but you will think about going from the cheekbone. When you're doing a cheekbone, you're not only going to lift the cheekbone, you're going to think about the eyebrow. The eyebrow will lift the cheekbone. The cheekbone will lift the jaw. So when you're working on the face, you're always going to think about working from top to bottom. And that's no matter what you're doing. Getting back to the photo now. So this woman, we're concentrating now on her upper area, the eye area, and the forehead area. My goal, though, was not to repair her forehead. My goal was to give her a eye lift, to repair the sagging that was over her eye, because it was bothering her that the sagging of her eyelid was affecting her vision. But I wasn't concentrating only on that. What I was concentrating on was where was the loss of volume that was causing the sagging that was affecting her vision. The loss of volume was coming from not only the loss of volume in her brow bone, it was also coming from the loss of volume of her temple area. And she also had some fine lines in her forehead, which told me that she had loss of volume here as well. The first session, I went over her fine lines in her forehead with 0.01 injections along the fine lines in her forehead. We rejuvenated the skin, fine lines, 0.01. The forehead's very flat and smooth. What would be ideal is if she would go to the doctor and maintain those fine lines with Botox. That would be great. Botox on the forehead and hyaluronic acid work great together. The Botox would prevent the muscle movement, which would help the hyaluronic acid last longer in the forehead, and the fine lines tighten as well. But she doesn't do Botox. She only uses the hyaluronic acid, which is fine also. The hyaluronic acid will repair the skin as well. It rejuvenates the skin cells, so that's okay too. It's just that she might have to maintain it a little more frequently. You'll see the difference from session 1 to session 2. You can even see it from the first session as well, the change, and then from the first session to the second session, I'll show you in the photos, you'll see the big change as well. The first session, you'll see the fine lines have tightened. So we're going to tighten that with the injections, fine lines, and then I added volume into the temple area. So adding the injections into the forehead now tightens that area. Just that alone will give a slight lift into the forehead, filling and tightening that area. That will automatically give a slight lift to the eyebrow. Adding volume into what has been lost from this area, causing the droop down here. Now you have to understand, these fine lines, loss of volume, didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 1 week. It didn't happen in a year. It happened over the span of 25 years. She's in her late 40s. And like I said, we lose volume after the age of 20. So this did happen over about 20 to 30 years. When we're repairing skin with hyaluronic acid, it's not going to happen overnight either. Hyaluronic acid is a wonderful product. It rejuvenates and hydrates and repairs skin. It's excellent, and it does work very quickly. It's not going to take 20 years to repair, but it's not going to take one session either. So you have to explain to your client, or even for yourself, if you're doing it on yourself, you have to understand, you have to be patient. It's going to require a few sessions. It's going to take time. It can be costly as well, because it's not going to only take 1 ml. Each session on her did take about 6 to 8 mLs to do a complete from the eye area up to the forehead. I would say the first session we probably used about 6 to 8 ml, and the second session I used about 6 ml. After that, once I did the forehead area and that was done, I did one at a time. I concentrated on that. After that, I then concentrated on the eye area. I then did, she had an 11 line right over here. So I did fill in the line she had over here. It was a little bit deeper than the lines over here. So as I was saying, the forehead is very flat. You want to keep the injections at a 0.01 ml to prevent any kind of lumps. And if you do get any kind of lumps, it's great to have your gold bar so that you can smooth out any kind of lumps that you might see. It's really important because you don't want to have any unevenness on the forehead. That's why you want to keep your injections low, so you can keep the forehead nice and smooth while you're working. She did have an 11 line right over here from frowning. When we frown, you get an 11 line right over there. So I did fill that in over here. When I'm working on the face, I never like to go over a 0.02. That's pretty much my rule, because I don't like lumps anywhere. I always like to add rather than have lumps and have to try and get rid of them. That's just the way I work. That's my personal opinion. I've seen some people go up to like 0.04. I think that's just crazy. I don't agree with it. I think, first of all, it can damage the tissue in the skin. It causes ugly lumps. It's really unnecessary. I don't know. I just don't think it's a great idea. So I then filled in her line over here, tightening that. Afterwards, I went up over here, over the eyebrow bone, filling in 0.1s. She had a lot of volume loss over here, in this area here. There was a lot of drooping and sagging in the brow bone area. So over there, I did do some 0.02s. As I started to fill, I went into the 0.01s. I mostly stuck with the 0.01 injections because, like I said, I prefer to add than to have lumps. I worked it up, adding in along the top line above the brow, all around, along the brow line here, a lot, over and over and over. And then even right here, I added here. You don't want to go too far down here. This is where most of the sagging skin hangs. You don't want to add filler in the sagging skin. You want to be lifting the skin. So do not add filler here where the bar is. Don't add filler there. You want to add filler here because you want to lift that skin up here. Okay, so you want to be filling the filler right under the brow line, as high as you can, and then right over the brow, all around here, right around. Same on the other side, right under, all around, and then over the brow bone, right over it. You can even do a little bit over here to pull back. And then you're gonna take your massager, you're gonna take your gold bar, and you're gonna smooth it up. You're gonna push your filler up to smooth it nice, massage it. Encourage your filler to go up and around. So for that photo you saw, that's basically the technique I did on her. I did it over the span of 2 treatments, and I took my time. I went very, very slowly, and I sat back and I had to look at her face and I analyzed where I was going to inject next. It's important that you also sit back and analyze the person's face. You have to realize that I can do a video and talk about what I did on her face, and I can show you, like I am right now, where I injected and how I injected. I'm demonstrating on my face. I'm showing you what I did and where I did it. But also, we all have different features. We all have different brow lines. We have different face shapes, and we all lack volume in different areas. Some people might be lacking more volume here, and some people might lack more volume here. It's really important that you, as the person who's performing the procedure, that you have to stand back and look at the person and really analyze where the volume loss is coming from. It's not only about a one-way treatment here. So a lot of people are writing to me asking me to draw a diagram of where to inject and how much to inject, and it's really important that you understand that when it comes to these type of things, it's kind of an artistic eye as well, that there's not a one-way filler. And that's the same when it comes to filling lips, filling cheeks, filling jaws. We all have a different mouth shape, we all have a different face shape. It's really important that you stand back and you analyze someone's face and really take a look and try and see where the volume loss is coming from. Like I said, everybody's different. For her, a lot of the volume loss was coming from the end brows and the forehead. The first session made a nice change. As you can see in the photos. But the second session was remarkable. It was beautiful. The result was amazing. She's very, very happy. Now that her reconstruction has been done and she's very happy with the result, the skin has tightened very, very nicely. Now she can just maintain. You can do your treatments about, I would say, every 3 weeks up until you're happy with the result and it's the way you like it and it's the look you wanted to achieve. Your maintenance can be every 6 to 8 months. Now that she likes the look, now that she has what she wanted and the results achieved, she's gonna come back in about 6 to 8 months just to keep it up. So some people also, if you've never had filler before, it might absorb a little sooner than later, and the more frequently she does it, once her skin is hydrated and it's used to having the hyaluronic acid, the longer she might go. So maybe the next time she might come maybe in 5 months, and the next treatment after that might be 6 months, and the next after that might be 7 or 8. So the more treatments you do, the more longer you can go, the periods in between you can last. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope it helped you. Don't forget, analyze the face, take a look, step back, use your judgment. Feel free to contact me. Like I said, my email is elsie@hyaluron-queen.com. If you need any supplies or products, feel free to write to me. I hope you all have a great day. Don't forget to press subscribe. I'll be making more videos very soon. I hope you all have a great day. Take care. Bye.